for this couples hit today. Today we're going to talk about 3 areas of how we've grown in the Lord since we've been married, individually, as a couple, and as parents.
Individually, I'll start.
Okay,
So
go.
for me individually, how I've grown is just how I look at things and things that are important. Sometimes I used to just kind of nitpick things, and I used to want to fight every single battle. But now I'm learning that I don't have to fight every battle, just kind of handing that over to the Lord. Some things should just be handed over. Well, everything should be handed over to the Lord, and I shouldn't be fighting every single thing. But what I've learned is just seeing what's important. Is it worth the fight? And just learning how to let things go and just kind of brush it under the rug and not even think about it anymore. And you'll know this about me. Once I'm done, I'm done. Once I'm cut off, and once that thing is done, I don't revisit it. And that's something I've learned over the last 3 years is just kind of letting those things go. And once they're dead, let it go. Don't think about it again. Don't revisit it. Don't feel like, well, I should have said this, or I should have done this, or I could have done this better. Once it's done, it's done. So that's something I've learned individually, just kind of letting things go. And once they're done, they're done.
Which is kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I just read, it's Psalms 33. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Yeah, 38. But I am deaf to all their threats. I am silent before them as one who cannot speak. I choose to hear nothing, and I make no reply. For I am waiting for you, O Lord. You must answer me, O Lord my God. And I feel like that's exactly
I'm making
what
a choice. I'm making a choice. And before I didn't. I just responded. And that's another thing is difference between responding and reacting. Now I respond. I think about how I'm going to respond and is it worth the response versus reacting where I would just, I'm going to say it, I'm going to do it, and it's
Whatever
done.
happens.
Whatever happens, happens. But now I've learned how to difference between reacting and responding, and just like I said, just choosing my battles. Some things just aren't even worth fighting for, because in the long run, what's it going to prove?
And I think for me, over these last couple of years, how I've grown individually in the Lord is that it has made me very selfless. Being a mom and a wife, and also still working and things like that, I literally learned how to take on like a Christ-like character of being a servant, not always trying to have my needs and what I may feel like I want met, or allowing that to be the top priority, but also realizing, I'm here to serve, I'm here to love, I'm here to model Christ-like behavior, and the Lord has just been favorable in that area for me as I've grown over these last couple of years. And I truly know that had I not gotten married specifically to this person or became a mother, those are just areas that will probably be dormant in me, things that I wouldn't know that I needed to even work on or even evaluate. So that's how I've grown as a person. Being married to you, it's been pretty awesome. Okay, so the next one, how have we grown in the Lord as a couple?
Well, for me, I've grown in the Lord as a couple, just thinking of things and looking at things from a kingdom perspective. Whereas before I was just, and kind of goes back to the other one too, about individually how I've grown. But as a couple, I've learned to look at life and look at the legacy that we're leaving behind for our children, what we're pouring into them, our children now, future children, grandchildren, that legacy that we're leaving behind, and modeling that for them. So as a couple, just how important it is to model what I say, because I can say one thing and read and show that I read the Bible, go to church when church was open, but it's another thing to actually model it. So as a couple, I've learned to actually model that, and like I said, more importantly, to having that kingdom mindset of what am I leaving behind? How is this impacting the kingdom? As a couple, what can we do to impact the kingdom, such as serving the homeless, or giving out clothing, going to shelters, and whatever it is that the Lord has us do right now. Our focus is on the homeless, but just as a couple, looking at things from a kingdom perspective. How can I impact the kingdom? How can I be God's hands and feet on the earth right
That's pretty good. Okay, so for me, I feel like as a couple, similar to you, I think we have grown in just our pursuit of Christ over the years. Like when we got married, we didn't do it conventionally. A lot of people actually were kind of upset about how we got married, and it just kind of is what it is. But we made a commitment to one another prior to getting married that the marriage was about us for the kingdom. And when it was all said and done, no matter what family, friends, whoever had to say about whatever, we had to come home and be together and work this out for Christ and model Christ-like love and be in our own lives and our own walks. And so it was important for us to like set our mind on, hey, we're in this for kingdom. We're not going to be married forever, which means like for all time, right? We are going to die and we will no longer be married in heaven. And so we know that this union is to glorify Christ. And while we're here, I'm so grateful that I have such a best friend to walk this Christ life out with. But we definitely knew that we just wanted to chase after God, put our lives on the line for God, and not be just afraid to live for Him, no matter what people thought or what they say. And so I think we've grown so much in that area, especially coming up on this year as we celebrate our anniversary, that we have not apologized once. Like, we are going to chase after God. If it works for you and you want to be a part of it, come along. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay, because our eyes are still on Christ. As long as we're in His will, we're not treating anyone poorly or badly, we're just going to chase after Him. And He's showing us more and more as a couple that He is all we need. There's a song that I just heard called Jireh, and He is our provider. He is literally more than enough, and He will always be enough, and we're learning that more and more as a couple. So that's mine. The last one, how have we grown spiritually as we've been married as parents?
I think mine kind of falls in line with the couple one, just about being kingdom-minded in our actions and everything that we do, and knowing that the child that we have and our future children that we may have, they're not our possessions. We're to steward them. We're actually to steward. We're stewards over those children. Those are gifts. Just as a husband, I would want my daughter to look at me as a model of what she wants her husband to look like and act and treat her. So I have to treat you the same way I would want my daughter's husband to treat her. So looking at things not just in this moment, but looking at it from a long-term perspective, and again, eternity, yeah. and having that kingdom mindset of what am I leaving behind? What can she say to her husband? Well, this is what my parents did, and your husband won't say, well, I don't do that type of thing. It'll be like, that's a really good idea. I want to chase after that. I want to do that too. So, and other things just that we're doing is just kind of breaking the tradition chain of things, how we do things, and how growing up
and asking why we do things. Yeah, why are we doing certain things?
That's a whole other hit.
That's a whole other hit. I know.
But anyway, back to the parent. That's, for me, it's more of having that kingdom mindset and just knowing that we're to steward her, that she's a gift to us, and to treat her as such.
Okay, well, he stole mine. As a parent, like he said, just learning that our children, all of them, are literally not ours. We are simply managers and stewards over them. We are to model the things of Christ in all areas, when we're weak, when we're strong, when we're victorious, when we're fearful, and all these areas, and just model that. And God just always reminds us that we're just stewards, and we can't, I know it may sound weird, but we can't like make or break her. He has a course for her, and we can either fall in line with it and help him steward that, or we can be a hurdle or obstacle for her to achieve the things that God has for her. But at the end of the day, His hand is on her, and we're just here to steward that. And I think that's how we feel as a couple, even, that we're just here for His glory. So I think we've grown a lot over these last couple of years, and our prayer is that we keep on growing. And so as we share with you today, that's our prayer for you as couples, that each year should look a little different than the year before in Christ.
Yeah.
Not just as a couple, we give more gifts, or we communicate better, or we do this together. It's not really about you. It's about what are you doing for Christ. And as we close, because we try not to make these too long, but as we close, to set your eyes on a mission together. Because when you set your eyes on a mission together, you don't have as much time to do this. You didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this, you didn't do that.
Because your whole focus is on the kingdom.
On Christ.
It's like, why are we fighting? How is this getting us closer to what God has us do?
Yeah.
So let's keep moving. So, yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Don't piss me on camera.
We're about to.
You about to smooch me down.
Okay.
All right. As always, thank you for watching, and
remember to always keep God on display.
Bye, guys.
Bye.